Conor McGregor. He's a nasty individual. He's charming, but he's mean. He's been at the forefront of a couple scandals recently. So instead of kicking a man when he's down, we're going to rank his actions. Because everyone knows I have the best opinions in the game. I want to do an honorable mention first. Actually, no, I don't. We're actually going to start with what I think is the most atrocious clip. Starting at number 1, we're working our way down. Conor McGregor responding to DC calling him and saying, you're from the same town as, or I'm from the same town as Dustin Poirier, and you call Dustin Poirier a hillbilly. Does that make me a hillbilly? Conor's response was,
you called Dustin a hillbilly. Dustin and I are from the same hometown. Does that make me a hillbilly? Conor, listen, before you answer this, you remember how much bigger I am than you.
You're a ghetto hillbilly, I call you.
You're a ghetto hillbilly. I don't know, what that's supposed to mean, but, the verdict's still out. I think it might be racist. Now, Conor, racism isn't good, so we're going to throw that at C. Sorry. We're putting that at C. Deplorable actions. But it's alright. Next, the Conor McGregor bus incident. After before the fight between him and Khabib, I think this was before the fight. Quicksilver, is that confirmed?
What?
Was this before the fight? The dollar before the fight with him and Khabib got mad at his friend. I don't know who the friend was, and I don't know what was said, but he confronted him about something. Conor responded by throwing a dolly through a window of a bus of him and a bunch of UFC fighters. So that's inappropriate.
I like
no one should act that
Dagestani
way.
people.
So we're going to go ahead and put that at D. Because D is for dolly. And that was kind of just boring. It's just kind of weird. We're not too... I'm not gonna sit here and say I love Dagestani people. And, I might even go out on a limb and say... go on a limb to say, if any Dagestani people are listening to this, I am probably stronger and faster and probably better at wrestling than you. I don't even need to mention striking because I'd outstrike any Dagestani. I think there's a lot of casualties in the midst of Conor McGregor throwing the dolly, so we're just going to go for it. We're just going to put that at D because it's deplorable. Number 3. Now, I'm a businessman. If you don't know what's going on right now, this is a business. This is the business world. And I don't just throw money away, right? You never just throw money away. You got to be smart. You have to be efficient. You have to kind of know what you're dealing with. As someone who's familiar with a fight game like myself, you never double the purse. You don't double the purse.
Bare knuckle, we're gonna do a bonus for this fight. We're gonna do a bonus, Conor.
No. Listen, we're gonna do bonuses, yes, for both these gentlemen, as well as a multitude of other people that fought on this card. But what we're gonna do for these two gentlemen, as well as a bonus, is double the purse. They're getting double pay. That's it, straight. Well done, gentlemen.
No. Conor McGregor doubling the purse and the fight night bonus. And I don't even know what the fight night bonus was. But this is in the midst of one of his worst interactions with. So we're going to go ahead and put that at B. I'm not going in any order particularly, guys, but I think it's because, you're still improving someone else's life. The owner of BKFC is very, very... I don't know if he's rich or poor. I don't know the guy. But I think if he let Conor McGregor get in on this, he's probably an idiot. Because, what else could you expect from this situation? So we're going to put that at B because at least the fighters benefit from it. But not. Now, number 4. This one I think, it's deplorable, especially for the BKFC business. If you don't remember, Mike Perry was at one point BKFC's biggest face, his biggest name. He was going in there, he was getting knockouts, he was running through, and he was, a lackluster UFC fighter. So when you see someone step into a new promotion and absolutely tear it up in something that's arguably more intense, I don't know if I'd say harder, but definitely more intense, like bare knuckle boxing, it's not easy. And Mike Perry was doing really good before Conor McGregor showed up. And part of this was accepting a fight between Jake Paul, a boxing match. Now, this was rumored to happen a long time ago, but it fell through. That was before Jake Paul had some time to mature as a fighter. And I don't know if you guys watched, but Mike Perry got whipped by Jake Paul, which is, it's unfortunate, it's sad, but that's the reality. Before this, Conor McGregor was supportive of Mike Perry, saying, go beat him up, go beat up the little blonde guy. But then when he got, beat, Conor McGregor wasn't too pleased. He said, you're released, go fight in your, snuffy, dirty boxing. Bad for the company. This is their biggest star. I'd say D, because I think Mike Perry was a great fighter at BKFC, but it's whatever. Now this next one's near and dear to my heart as a fight analyst. In the game, it's easy to visualize yourself in a fighter's place. It makes sense. It helps you understand where they're coming from and what they need to do to tackle this next huge opponent. Because, your next fight's always bigger than your last. You're only as good as your last. So, I gotta, it's hard to say, go work, Conor. Go work. You're educating. So, at our first gaining into the upper tiers, we're not going to put an S. We're going to put it at A. Stand your base! Stand your base, Conor McGregor said. Now, this was on a gambling stream. We don't know what he was smoking. He was smoking a Swisher Sweet. I don't think they sell Swisher Sweets in Ireland. I don't know if Conor McGregor knew that it was a gambling stream. I think Conor McGregor thought he was on FaceTime and the other person had turned off their camera and he was giving him advice about some kind of fight. These deals that Conor McGregor's making, they're not only impressive, they're kind of creating their own consciousness where I don't know if Conor McGregor thinks that the internet is a mass accumulation of people that are brought together by an algorithm. I think Conor McGregor thinks this is one person he's talking to because he's so compassionate about the advice he gives out. So that's why we're putting in number 8, because he's such a good guy. Now, at D tier. Now we'll put it at C. At C tier. Toptoria! Conor McGregor was describing how he would have beat Ilia Topuria. Now, I don't know if you guys know anything about Ilia Topuria, but he's kind of on a tear right now. He beat Volkanovski. He knocked out Max Holloway. He's an impressive fighter. Conor McGregor has, for some reason, been calling out fighters without fighting. Now, I understand calling out fighters that are active in the UFC, like Topuria, and I think that would be a fight that would be made if he wanted it to be made, because he has 2 fights left on his contract. But something tells me that he doesn't want to do it, especially because Conor was smoking another Swisher Sweet at the time of calling out Ilia Topuria. So I think what Conor McGregor needs to do now, instead of calling people out, is transition to black and milds. And I'm not going to continue down this path, but we're going to move on. But, at C tier, we're putting it there because I don't appreciate the call-outs anymore. I'm kind of getting sick of it. At S tier, our first... Oh, gosh. I'm getting lightheaded thinking about it. Oh, my gosh. At our first S tier, and I'm happy that we made it here. I didn't know if we'd make it here. Conor McGregor, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Those fucking bikes in me way.
Who the fuck are you?
Shh. Thank you, God.
Now, there's a lot to be said about Roadhouse. The original, one of my favorite movies. The new one could be considered the greatest movie made of all time. Conor McGregor's acting, not only was it stellar, it was practical, and it begs the question, just like the internet, did Conor McGregor know that wasn't happening? Did Conor McGregor seriously think that he was in the Florida Keys, son of a gangster who was tasked to kill an ex-UFC? Did Conor know he was in the UFC at the time of filming that? Did he know he still had a contract? Now, there's a lot to be said. I think they filled him in eventually because he started doing press, and I think that was one of the favorite parts of Conor McGregor's path in filming this is I think during, if he wasn't on coke, then they probably told him to stop. And I think when he started doing press, he got right back to it. As you could see, we'll put a bigger one right here. Why is he so red? Why did he hit Jake Gyllenhaal? Why is he so red? I think for a little bit, he wasn't even Irish anymore. I think he became... I want to say white. American, maybe, even. Anyways, to move on. Now, I'm no stranger to UFC refs making mistakes, but it's a challenge in the fight industry to be engaged in fighting a ref.
Like that, Charlie Ward! He was cut, he was hurt, and man, he uncorked a shot that dropped Redmond. Seconds left to go in the round.
And look who's in to celebrate with him. The notorious one.
Wow, Conor McGregor trying to go at the referee. I don't know what.
Without being associated to an event at all. Not only was he associating with the ref, Mark Goddard, Conor McGregor, after Ward knocked out his opponent at Bellator 187, I believe it was. It was a great fight, too. Conor McGregor, for some reason, took it upon himself to vault himself over the octagon. Whoa. Jump in. And he dropped the shoulder, tackled Ward, and was hugging him on the ground as if he just saved the world. Mark Goddard, of course, he's the ref. He had to stop it. He pulled him off. When pulling him off, Conor McGregor didn't like it too much and tried to attack Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard's a big guy. I'm not saying that I couldn't beat him in a fight. I probably could, but Conor, I don't know. Not only did he push Mark Goddard after getting him off him, a commissioner was trying to get him away and getting him out of the cage. Once he was out of the cage, Conor McGregor smacked the commissioner, assaulted him on live television, and the rest was history. Now, nothing happened because of this, but we're going to put that at C tier because that's kind of funny that he smacked the commissioner. Now, COVID, stress, being off the internet, a lot of things happen that would make someone become weird. Especially Conor McGregor. You know, he lives on his yacht, sailing around Italy, doing whatever he wants to do. But for some reason, he can't. I don't know. Gosh. I don't know if Conor McGregor can spell. And if Conor McGregor watches any of this, I want you to know I have nothing but respect for you. I have nothing but admiration towards you. As a businessman, as a fighter. There's some murky waters that we won't get into on this subject, but, you know, I want to see your comeback just as much as anyone else. And I think you're very well communicated. So that's why at A tier, we're going to put Conor McGregor Twitter voice memos, or X, whatever you want to call it. Conor making voice memos is probably what is keeping X on the market. I think no one would be on X if it weren't for Conor McGregor at this point. I know my producer is a big fan of Twitter. He likes something a little more thick and juicy. That's what he says. He won't let me look at it, but I think he said something about Latinas, booties. I think, but Conor being on Twitter and doing voice memos, I think, is quite possibly the best bit of content that anyone could produce without trying to produce content. Now I'm going to do a little impression for you guys, and I know that you guys like when I do this, and I know that you guys watch our videos and you just say thank you for doing this. So I'm going to do my impression of my favorite, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because I think it's a while, but here's my impression of my favorite voice memo, and you could tell me who you think this is, and, you know. That was an illegal knee to a grounded opponent. Shut up, Joe, you fool ya. So that's why we put it at A. I think that it was a good impression. I think that not only was it a good impression, I think that it was one of the better impressions. Next, at B tier. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with him doing this. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with Conor McGregor doing. And, I can't say that I agree with everything he does. I could confidently say I actually don't agree with everything he does. This I understand. Conor McGregor confronted a man in a bar that was serving his whiskey. Man was around 80 years old. Conor offered him some whiskey. What's his whiskey called?
Irish one.
Is it?
Proper 12.
Proper 12. We have a bottle of Proper 12. No, we don't. We've seen a bottle of Proper 12. And I can confidently say, if I were someone who just spent time and effort into crafting an alcohol that is made for everyone, and I go up to you and I say, I want you to have this. I want you to take this gift that I produced with a team. I want you to take this from me. I don't want thank you. You don't even have to say please. All I need you to do is take this. And you say no, I'd hit you too. Conor McGregor punched an 80-year-old man for denying a shot of whiskey for free. Now, listen, coming from my perspective, once again, I'm a businessman. I make shit happen. I don't care, man, woman, or child, 1 to 100. If I'm offering you something, you better take it. Unfortunately, an 80-year-old man got in Conor McGregor's crosshairs, and I think Conor McGregor cold-cocked him. I don't think the guy went out. I think he was completely fine. I don't know if the guy, he was pretty old, so I don't know if he knew it happened, but I think he learned a lesson, and a valuable one at that. So that's why we're putting it at B. Now, we got to put this one at C tier. Conor McGregor was on the Ariel Helwani show. Conor McGregor's gotten a little more civil when it comes to press recently. With everything going on, he's very respectful. Conor went back on the Ariel Helwani show. And, talking about one of his fights in the after party, Ariel Helwani had asked Conor, is it okay if I come to the after party? Conor said, of course. He said, of course you could come, Ariel, but not Mrs. Helwani. Verbatim, he said, no fat chicks. Now, Conor, this is a man's wife you're talking about. You're lucky you didn't say that about me. You know, you're lucky you didn't say that about my beautiful girlfriend. So here's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to put that at C, and I don't want to see it again. Do I find Ariel Helwani's wife attractive? That is something that I'm not comfortable telling you guys. But, you know, would. Next, Conor McGregor knocking out. I don't even know what kind of mascot this is, but this shit gets on my nerves. So I'm going to put this at A. I'm not a big fan of mascots. I don't like them very much. I think they're annoying. I think that they're unnecessary. And I think if it's not a real animal, I don't really care. You know, let's throw out a couple mascots right now. The Boilermakers. Guy that boils makers. Makes boils. I don't know. I don't really care. Their logo's a train. That's Purdue. What else? Someone throw out a funny one. Don't you do it. Throw out a funny one.
Gamecocks.
The Gamecocks. What's so fun about playing with cocks? I don't know if they're referring to chickens. Here's not ours, but someone's mascot. Little Red and Big Red. We're the only team with two. Someone. Anyways, A tier. Sorry, we got off track. Now, I'm a patriot. And I think you know where this is going. I'm a patriot. And you know there's not supposed to be too many S tiers, but you gotta love and respect someone who puts their life on the line for the country and says, I am running for president of Ireland, of course. And this also comes after a lot of controversies with being held criminally liable to inappropriate things and doing inappropriate things. So we try not to touch on that too much. Pause. Oh, no. We're going to have to black that out. But anyways, I think after all the stuff that's come out about Conor, I think that's definitely an S tier. And finally, last but not least, Conor McGregor at the inauguration. Now, Conor McGregor at the inauguration was hanging out with Jake Paul and Logan Paul's mom a lot, which I thought was borderline inappropriate, definitely too far. And he said he was going to smack him, which is rude. Not only that, but he was being a little too much. He was being a little too touchy, and I think Conor McGregor is a silly, funny guy, so we're going to let him slide. Honorable mentions. Cheating on his wife. Someone.
Probably not honorable.
Oh, dishonorable mentions. Beating random people on the streets, destroying iPhones, doing coke. Heresy, he called himself God. And Irish accent. And I don't want a Stephen A. Smith moment. I don't want a moment where Conor McGregor shows up at my house. And God forbid that Conor McGregor does show up at my house. I could confidently say to you guys right now, I will stand ready to swing on Conor McGregor and produce my team. And protect my team, not produce them, guys. I would never do that. I would stand by and protect my team to my last breath, and I will swing on Conor McGregor the next chance I get. The next time Conor McGregor comes where I am, yeah, I know. Next time Conor McGregor enters my state, and he has to find me. If he wants me to swing on him, he has to find me. I'm not wasting my time. And you know what? Here, I'll give you a clue. I'm in a landlocked state, so you can't bring that yacht here, okay? Here's a second clue. You don't want to find me. Because I ain't Jose Aldo. I'm the guy that beat ball cancer. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. If you enjoyed our list, kill yourself. Thank you. So we're going to have to bleep out a lot of stuff.